Pray, listen to hear, and step out in faith. Pray, listen to hear, and step out in faith. This will be on repeat cycle for you as you start walking out into creating and establishing a business ministry model. First things first, you have a few things to ask God, and here is a list for you. The first thing is, okay, God, I have an idea of what you want me to create with business and ministry. What do you want me to register this as? Do you want me to register it as a company? Do you want me to register it as a sole trader? Do you want me to register it as a partnership? Do you want me to register it as a non-for-profit? What is on your heart, God? What do you want me to register this business ministry model as? This is very important that you don't jump this ahead of this step, simply because the vision God gives you will depend on the choice that you select here. It is very difficult later on to make adjustments if you choose the wrong one. So for example, if God has given you a vision of a bigger kind of business model and growth, you definitely want to go and register it more as a company rather than a sole trader. If the Lord only shows you small time that you would be working in a home, say maybe plumbing, and then ministering to people as you do that, you might then just register as a sole trader. But the bottom line is, whatever it is God is going to ask of you to do, He will also tell you what to register it for, because there are pros and cons for each of the different registration options. And it's very important for you to understand the differences between them, because things can go wrong and you need to know what is your liabilities and your responsibilities regarding the models you're going to choose. The next thing you need to sit with the Holy Spirit and ask Him is, okay, Lord, what is the name that you want for this business ministry combination? You know, it's not wrong to ask your friends and families and you to jot down your own little ideas, but ultimately what you're building is God's business ministry model. So you would want His input and the name that He wants to give you. So take a few minutes and sit with the Holy Spirit and just say, okay, Lord, bring to my heart and mind the name that you want for this business and organization. And then you can basically use that name and just see how it sits with your friends and family. But bear this in mind, people might actually say they don't like it. I remember when the Lord told me that I need to register my first company as Build Existence, when I shared that with the CEO I was working for at the time, he didn't like the name. He said it's too long, people aren't going to get it. And he said to use something different, something a bit more punchy. But the Holy Spirit would not let me go away from that name. So I registered it as Build Existence. So once you have that name and you know what business model you kind of need to go and register it as, the next thing you need to do is first check the availability of the name with regards to your organizational unit in whatever country you are, like the body that actually handles business name registrations. If you're in Australia, for us it is ASIC. For you, it might be something different in the US, but they will have a checker to see if that business name is available for registration. Because if it's unavailable, you will need to change or choose a different name. The second thing you want to check as well is to look on trademarkings and see if that business name has already been trademarked in someone's logo or a different name. Because even if you register it as a business name, that does not legally make it yours until you've actually trademarked it. The business name will belong to you, but anyone can then still use that business name on their own marketing and materials until you've actually trademarked it. And so actually looking at the trademarking availability for that name would give you an idea as to whether it would be good to register it in that. If you're in Australia, IP Australia is the place to go to check that out. And I will put links down in the description of this video for you for those in Australia. I've never registered a company in America yet, or in different countries, so I don't know what is your structure over there. But for Australia, we have ASIC to go and look for business name availability and register it there, and IP Australia to look at trademarks. So I'll put the links down in the description of this video for you. Then the third thing you need to check with that business name is the domain available for it? Because if you're going to start a business and ministry combination, chances are you're going to use a website of some sort. And you would need to register a domain having that business name so that people can actually link it to your business. So you need to go to a domain register such as GoDaddy or Namecheap and just type in the domain you are thinking of. So let's say you want to just trademark it as pizzaforjesus.com as an example. You need to first see if that name is available. If that domain has already been taken, you might need to reconsider the name that you want to put. So once you have a name, there are those 3 things you need to check before you even go ahead and pay the fees to check the availability. Once that's done, pay the fee, register it, register the name, register the trademark, and then register the domain name before someone else gets it. Then the next step would be to ask the Lord for a logo, because now you need to have a logo for your business ministry. Again, you can think about ideas. You can also chat with friends and families, ask their ideas. I have found personally the best one to ask is the Lord, because again, it is His business ministry combination. My logo build existence, it basically started very interestingly. I had no idea what the Lord wanted for a logo. So I sat with the Lord one day and I said, okay, God, you need to tell me, what is it that you want for this logo? You already gave me the name. Now what is the logo design? And as I was finishing up with my previous work, one of the reception ladies, or customer service lady, she turned around and she asked me just randomly out of the blue, what is your favorite animal? And without thinking, I just said to her, an eagle. And she turned around and said, wow, that's powerful. And then the Holy Spirit was like, yup, that's the one. You're going to take an eagle for the logo. And the interesting part was, eagle wasn't my favorite animal. It just came out of my mouth. So I already was in line and in tune with, okay, this is you, Lord. And then so the next thing happened, I found a graphic designer and I said, hey, listen, I have a name. This is the font that I like. And I have an idea for an eagle, but I've got no idea what this looks like. And then he just drafted 3 examples. And then the Lord showed me one that was close to. But then as I sit with the Lord, it just didn't sit right and complete. And then the Holy Spirit just told me, make some tweaks with the wings, make some tweaks with the beak, make a tweak with the eye. And there we go. And there we had the logo that the Lord basically designed. And that is then the logo that we trademarked and used for that first company. So those are the beginning points of your business ministry model. Once you have done all those components, and then you have registered for an ABN, because you need an ABN so that you can actually conduct business. And you need to get a tax file number if you're in Australia. In America, it might be called something different. In other countries, it might be called something different, but you would need a tax file number. In Australia, it is free to register for your ABN and your tax file number, but you need that. So you're going to register whatever that business name is, that entity name is that you've now registered. You're going to use that to get its own ABN and its own tax file number. And you generally do that in conjunction with registering it. And also the next thing that is then up is to get a bank account for your business ministry. I do not recommend having your personal bank account for that, because for tax purposes, it just makes it easier to have your income and your expenses in a different bank account to your own personals, because you don't necessarily want other people poking in your personal stuff, and it just helps to keep things running smoothly. And so then go to a bank, ask the Lord, what bank do you want me to use? And go and register your bank account. And those would be your first steps to starting your business ministry model.